He makes the catch close to the sticks, but he'll be a little short of the first down. That last completion sets him up on second down. They'll go to the ground. Oh, what a move. They finally wrestle down the senior, but not before he picks up some valuable ground. And the Wildcats are flying down the field. Might as well give it to him again. Able to squeeze out a couple on the play. It's down at the 35. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. Just a short pass to the tight end. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Motion from the wide receiver. On third and long, he's going to have to throw for it. Finds a crease at the 20. Got enough to move the sticks. First down from the 17. The Wildcats come to the line with a new set of downs. They're threatening to score, and they'll throw it. Makes the catch. They'll spot the ball at the 12 after that completion. Let's take a wide view for a second of Kansas State. The good news about starting the season outside the top 25, not a lot of lofty expectations. You can sneak up on a few teams, but sooner or later, you're going to want to get that attention and get into those rankings.
A lot more, but it's not impossible. In recent years, you saw it with Indiana coming out of absolutely nowhere. You saw it back in the day with USF. You've seen it with Rutgers. Like, in the past, you can do it. You can put it together, gain some momentum, but it starts with this game right here.
TCU reached the national championship game a few years back.
Throw to the end zone. It's picked off.
And how about that? That's the first INT for this guy. Like, he's gone all throughout this year, taking care of the football, making plays, really, really building trust with his offensive coordinator. First mistake. Hey, listen, put it behind you. You've had a great season so far, young man.
Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. Looking to scramble.
You see a lot of quarterbacks get in trouble when they start forcing things. He did a really good job. He wanted to throw the football. You could tell. Drops back, nothing open. It's okay. I'm just going to take off, get what I can get.
They'll run the screen. Didn't have much room to run and not a whole lot of help. Short gain there and still plenty of ground to cover for the first down. He's going to look for a man on third and short. Fires to the tight end. Solid work and execution there. They'll have a first down as they mark it at the 40. Looking downfield on first down. Back open in the middle. They'll rip off 8 on that play. It's 2nd and 2. And the Terrapins with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. Back to pass. Pressure coming. Finds a man on the right. Offense on the move. A big play there. Gets it to the 30. The Terrapins will hustle to the line.
And as soon as the receiver caught the ball, you saw the quarterback start communicating to his teammates what the next play was going to be because they're now changing the tempo and going fast.
Makes the catch and steps out of bounds, but short of the first down mark. And the Terrapins can really attack on this 2nd and short. Looking to fire. He'll pull it down and run. Picks up the first down and gets down to avoid contact. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Gives it on the option. He's tackled right at the 10-yard line, and they're trying to cash in on this drive. 2nd down coming up on this red zone opportunity. Caught in the backfield. It's Kane. They make the tackle just outside the end zone, but it'll be 1st and goal from the 1. They'll try to pound their way in. And he's brought down at the line of scrimmage, and the ball will stay at the 2. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Can the D deny them on 2nd and goal? Tries again to get it in. And he is stopped immediately by the big defensive lineman. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Power Cats have powered up the noise to try to help this defense on third down. Receiver on the move gets the touch pass. Stopped in the backfield, and this defense has forced him into fourth down. Looks as if they'll send out the field goal unit. From the left hash, this one shouldn't be too much trouble. No good. Kicker tried to tack a few more on the scoreboard, guys, and couldn't do it.
And these are the ones that make me want to remove kickers from a game. I mean, this is a chip shot field goal. It should be an automatic 3. He misses. Wasted drive, wasted opportunity.
The give to the back. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. Wants to go up top. Quickly to the tight end. Nice gain on that play, but leaves it a little short of the first down. The Wildcats come to the line on 3rd and short, trying to keep the drive alive. Fires to the big fella. And with that effort, they pick up a fresh set of downs. They have it at the 34-yard line. Out of the gun, the running back has it. That is a big win for this defense, as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. Unloads quickly. And this one will be stopped for no gain. And the Wildcats are in a mess here on 3rd and a mile. And the ball comes out. What a disastrous play. And the defense jumps on it, and they get that turnover. And maybe this guy was hoping somebody would bail him out, like a tuck rule or something.
Not going to be so lucky this time around. Give the defense credit. This pass rush is serious. It's real. And this quarterback is now going to have to play with a clock in his head that's going off just a little bit quicker. He's got to do a better job understanding when to get rid of it.
Here comes the Maryland offense back onto the field. They built up some time of possession with that last drive, but couldn't turn it into points with the missed field goal. We'll see if they can put something on the board this time. It'll be 2nd down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. They'll go to work in the air on 2nd down. Going for 6. He's got it in the end zone. Touchdown, Terrapins.
And it's so underrated. The relationship between a QB and a wide receiver, the timing, the ability to know where he's going to be and be accurate with the football, that's what leads to nice touchdowns, Jesse.
Well, and the chemistry between these two guys has to be great when you're throwing into the end zone, because coverage is going to be tight. The throw might not be perfect, but this is something these two guys have been repping in practice over and over and over, and it's paying dividends now on game.
Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Hey, guys, got a final score in a big top 25 matchup today. Miami opened up a can, and how many times can you say you went into someone else's building and beat them by double digits? It's what happened today, and the rest of college football should take notice. Each week in college football, the tests are just so tough, and we found that out again today, guys, with another ranked team going down.
And Kevin Connors keeping an eye on everything all over the country. Sounds like they had a good one there. And the Wildcats need a massive chunk play to move the sticks here on 3rd down. He's looking to pass, and they can't make the play on 3rd down. They bring the punter onto the field now. They'll boot it into the night sky for the first time. Hauls it in and looking upfield. He'll get it up to about the 44-yard line before they slam the brakes on it. First snap of this drive comes from their own 44. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will.
That's a really nice play. It's impressive. When it's first down and the defense thinks you might be running the football, you still can line up, get some movement at the point of attack, and find a little crease for your running back.
He lofts it high and deep down the left side. And it's incomplete after taking a shot on 2nd down. They're staring at 3rd. From the gun, wants to pass. Takes a hit as he fires. Another incompletion on third down. The Terrapins decide to punt it away. First time we've seen their punt team tonight. Not going to take a chance to grab that one as it bounces out of bounds. K-State has the ball back and the Power Cat offense returns to the field. Wants to go up top on first down. Got the big tight end on the corner route. And they'll make the stop, and we are headed to the end of the first period. Quarterback may change this route. We've come to the end of the quarter, and Maryland has the lead. We've played one. Before we move on, let's have a look at the stats. Lots of time left and ready to go back at it here in the second quarter. So second down here as we're back at it after the break. Here's a quick throw out to the left. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Third and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Blasted as he lets it go. And they can't make the connection on third down. K-State sends the punt team onto the field, ready to boot it away. A fair catch taken just inside the 40-yard line. They'll start this drive and snap it from the 40. Pulls and fires complete. And a good job of coverage by that defense, just a short pickup. So now it's second and long. Back to pass. Got his man on the right. Stopped at the 47-yard line, a 10-yard gain, and they'll move the markers. Here comes the offense on 1st and 10 from the 47. Rides the back and leaves it on the option. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Pocket breaking down. And the defense picks up a sack, getting the quarterback down at the 44.
Well, you can see why this team thinks this kid has a real bright future. It's amazing. He's only a true freshman. He's not built like one, though. And you saw it on that last play. Trust me, that is the first of many sacks in this kid's collegiate career.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On third and long, no secret what he needs here. Using the back as a receiver on the screen. He cannot get there. It'll be 4th down. And the Terrapins line up to punt it away. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. Coverage was all over him before he had a chance to breathe, and they knock him down deep in his own territory. They go to the ground. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. Looking to fire. Finds his tight end. And there might have been trouble if they hadn't gotten to him immediately. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Offense in a bunch formation. Trying to move the sticks on third down through the air. Picked off, and they ruin an early drive with the turnover. He was thinking big return, didn't get that, but boy, did he give his offense an opportunity at the 31. To the ground with the back. And he never had a chance, just stopped cold as soon as he got it. The Terrapins trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. Can't find a man, and he'll be knocked down at the 40.
That is how you start a drive. Meet the physical challenge on first down. Rush the quarterback, get the sack on second down, and now put him in a 3rd and long situation. Nice job by this defense.
Now a lot of work work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, he'll have to turn it loose deep. He's got it down the middle. He won't get there. It'll bring up 4th down. And here comes the field goal unit for the 2nd time tonight. That took every ounce of leg strength he had to sneak that one into the left corner. And that will extend their lead even further.
You've got to make the opponent pay for turning the football over. And while this team would have liked to have scored a touchdown off that pick, I think they're pretty happy getting the field goal.
He'll bring it back from inside his 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. A little bit backed up to start this drive from their own 18-yard line. Zings it complete to the right. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there, still a bit short of the 1st down. The Wildcats with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. Gets it to him on the screen. Oh, he's got some space. Ripping off a pretty good chunk of yardage. They've got it out to the 41 with the 1st down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Fires to the tight end. And the big fella couldn't elude the quarterback who makes a sure tackle. Wants to fire on 2nd down. A little release to the back. He is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose yards on that one. They'll come to the line at the 42, facing a 3rd and long. Get it out to the supersonic guy. They stop him short of the sticks, and it'll be 4th down. Kansas State will have to punt it away. Let's see if he can help the coverage team out with this one. Boy, they had a chance to track that thing down, but it bounces into the end zone for a touchback. A lot of field in front of them as they open this possession from their own 20. And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on 1st down, 2nd down coming. Working well behind the sticks on 2nd down. From the gun, the ground game. They'll knock him down after a 6-yard gain to the 27. Just listen to the little apple. You can hear it all the way to the big apple as they try to get the defense off the field. The sure hands, it's Kane. And he'll go down, but he has enough for the 1st down. And the Terrapins come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Power football with the run. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. After losing a couple on that last play, here's 2nd and 12. Wants to go up top. Got the quick pass. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few. It'll be 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. It's picked off, and they ruin the drive with a turnover. Pulled down at the 45-yard line, and that's the kind of ball hawking a defensive coordinator loves to see. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. They'll get this drive started from their own 45-yard line. Wide receiver going in motion. Wants to throw on 1st down off the play fake. Got it behind the line. It's Bridges. Tackled almost immediately. They're well short of the 1st down. Back to pass on 2nd down. He let that thing fly quickly, but he couldn't make the connection. After the 2nd down misfire, looking at a 3rd and 8. From the gun, wants to pass. Now improvising. Short gain on the play before he slides. And they'll stop him about 5 yards short of the 1st. Punt is in the air. And nobody able to handle that punt. They'll let it bounce and roll out of bounds. Let's see if they can get something going here late in the half. Off play action. And that defense gets to him, and down he goes at the 9.
That's not how you want to start a drive. On the very first play, you give up a sack and you lose a ton of yards. Quarterback, you've got to know, just throw the ball away, know when the play is over.
These guys are bringing serious heat. They are like sharks swarming and just getting after the passer. We're at the 2-minute timeout. They've built a big lead, and they'll try to pile on a little more before the break. It's 2nd and long now as this defense has some energy after that last sack. And the pass is incomplete thanks to a big hit. The Terrapins need their binoculars to find that line to gain here on 3rd down. Here's the snap, itching to fire downfield. Not a whole lot of room there on that screen pass as it just never developed. Here's a timeout on the field. Tight game here late in the first half. They punted away on 4th down. Makes the catch near the 50. Good job by the coverage unit to put a stop to that return. Off play action on 1st down. Always a welcome play for the defense as they get a sack at the 47. They'll try to kick it into overdrive. Clock's running. 2nd down coming. Back to pass. Fires to the middle. Can't make the catch, and it'll be 3rd down. He had that thing and just lost his concentration. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. He lets one fly deep. Makes the grab down the middle. And they explode on that one, and they've got it down to the 22.
I know this isn't the start the offense wanted. They don't have any points so far in this game, but sometimes it just takes one explosive play to turn things around. And after that beautiful completion...
There he goes. Got enough space. And he waltzes in for the score. Touchdown, Wildcats.
So nice to have the run game, so nice to trust in it, so nice to cut this game to a one-possession game. Halftime now becomes a lot more bearable. Coaches ain't yelling and screaming. We got to get this fixed, but we got some positive mojo on our side.
Ready to try the point after. And with the extra point, the lead is cut to 3. It's 10-7. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
Week in and week out, guys, you never know what's going to happen in college football. Check this out. Middle Tennessee is ahead in this one. This team plays a fun brand of football there in Murfreesboro, but they're a long way from closing this out. They're up by 11 over Virginia Tech.
Out of the shotgun, they go to the ground.
We've got our eye on this one and everything else going on throughout the day, guys.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. Laundry down on the field as the pass is incomplete, but let's see what the penalty is. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. And now on 2nd down for this offense. On the option. He'll pitch it. We've seen a ton of this tonight. They just keep giving him the ball, and he keeps running into brick walls. Not much running room again. The Power Cats have powered up the noise to try to help this defense on 3rd down. Makes the catch. They pick up the 1st down. They'll mark him at the 34. Got to be expeditious here. The offense quickly calls timeout to stop the clock. And the Terrapins getting set on 1st and 10. To the air on 1st down. Looking left. He's got it. All the way out across the 45-yard line. Mark it out of bounds at the 46.
At the 46.
Looking to throw on 1st down. Fires to the big fella. They'll finally drag him down, but not before he gets it to the 40, and it's a 1st down. One more snap coming before juice boxes and orange slices. Got his man. And he broke one tackle on the way to a solid pickup there. The offense calls timeout, and they won't have any more left this half. And with just a few seconds remaining here in the first half, they'll try to kick a field goal. It's good. Easy call for the refs. Hold on just a second. Personal flag on the field. Let's see what's up with that. So they'll decline the penalty, pleased with the results of that last play. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update.
Men, it should come as no surprise that we have ourselves a fun matchup in Manhattan. And a lot of coaches will say limiting the big plays and maybe hitting on a few yourself is key. But I'm more of a move the chains guy. Give me efficiency every day of the week and twice on Saturday. The offensive unit that subscribes to the less is more philosophy might be the one that leaves here today with a big fat W. And with that, let's send it back to the guys inside Bill Snyder Family Stadium.
He'll start the return inside his 5. He was looking for more running room, but none to be found as he stopped at the 23. This drive opens up at the 23-yard line. Try to get the edge with a quick touch pass. The defense wouldn't let him loose, and even though it's a completion, they lost yardage. After getting knocked back to open this drive, it's 2nd and 12. Looking to fire. Just a little off. Incomplete. The Terrapins are way behind the sticks on this 3rd and forever. From the gun, wants to pass. Quickly complete. Still on his feet at the 45. Finds some room. A giant chunk of yardage picked up there, and they're down to the 24.
A lot of times when you go to the stat sheet after the game, defenses are going to look at explosive plays. Like, we're taught to be top down, stay deep, don't give up those big plays, make them earn it all the way down the field. Bad job giving up the big play in the passing game.
And the Terrapins headed quickly to the line. Looking to throw on 1st down. Intercepted, and that's not how you want to start a half. Didn't get a ton on the return, but they've got it inside the 20 at the 19-yard line.
We've just seen in this game the ball's just gotten away from him a little bit. A couple of times, just hasn't been able to put it where he wants to. And as a result, that's now his 2nd pick thrown in this game.
So they start this drive from inside their own 20 at the 19-yard line. He'll keep it himself. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple. The Wildcats now with a long way to go to pick up the 1st down. 2nd down, he'll throw it. They're setting up the screen. Didn't have much room to run and not a whole lot of help. Short gain there and still plenty of ground to cover for the 1st down. On 3rd down, he drops to throw. And here's the 3rd interception of the night. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
Well, the quarterback on that one put a lot of air under the ball. The problem is it gave the defender time to get his head around and locate it. And because of that, he was able to come away with the interception.
Maryland has the ball back and the Terrapin offense ready to go. That last drive was promising for a while, but you just can't mess it up at the end with the pick, Jesse.
No, you got to be able to finish drives, especially in this game. If you're going to win it, David, they've got to be able to eliminate the mental mistakes.
Yeah, and I don't think you get conservative or play it safe. You can trust your guy. I think you put the ball right back in his hands and let him do his thing.
Quarterback moving out of the pocket.
This quarterback, man, looks like he's playing angry right now. He did not like that interception he threw the last time out on the field. You could see on the sidelines, guys. He could not wait to get back out there. And that time, it was like he was running mad. I don't even know if he really wanted to throw that ball. He just wanted to take off, scramble, go get the first down.
Lost one on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. Wants to go up top. He's got the tight end. That's a really good tackle there, giving up some size and still making the play. On 3rd down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. Firing to the right, complete. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. And on 4th down, they'll try to put 3 on the board. And he'll try to knock it through from the right hash and 35 yards out. And is slipped just inside that right upright. That'll make it a 2-score game at 16-7.
Man, so many more times we're going to say, go for it, be aggressive. Nice to have a guy you can depend on, and you know you're putting 3 on the board. Nice kick, nice job.
Here he comes from inside his own 5. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. They'll snap it from the 20 for the opening play of this drive. He'll do it himself. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down. The give to the running back from the shotgun. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to turn one loose downfield. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a 4th down. Yet another punt on the way. Got to make sure that hamstring stays loose. He's been busy. And the returner runs out of real estate as he goes down. Here comes the Maryland offense back onto the field. They've got the lead here. Last time they settled for a field goal, but David got to find that balance between being aggressive and careful.
And I think they'll take that. I got the lead, Palmer. I got the football. I got to take care of the football, put a nice drive together, and just get some kind of points on this drive.
No doubt. Lots to be happy about right now if you're this team. I think for this one, though, on this drive, it's about finding the one-on-one matchups that are in your favor and then exploiting.
Just listen to the little apple. You can hear it all the way to the big apple as they try to get the defense off the field. From the gun, wants to pass. Here's a heat. Turns it loose. And he throws another interception, his 3rd of the night. Down to the 36-yard line and some nifty moves to try to make a big play on the interception.
Well, the good news is after that 2nd pick of the 3rd quarter now for this guy, they're still winning the game, but they are living dangerously right now. And they can't expect to hold on to that. But this guy keeps making bad decisions like we've seen here now in the first period of the 2nd half.
And it's got to be frustrating because you always talk about taking care of the football, and you've got to lead in the 2nd half. You need your quarterback to play smarter.
They'll try to put a drive together starting from the 36. The give to the tailback. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. Punts it out of the air. And good coverage by the defense, just a short gain. And this offense just can't afford not to get the first down here. Already trailing big, and the clock is not their friend. Dragged down, but they'll move the sticks for a 1st down. And the Wildcats come to the line with a new set of downs. They'll move the wide receiver. Off the play fake on 1st down to throw. Makes the grab down the middle.
This defense is going to have to be careful. Not only do they have to worry about this guy running the football, but they've got to keep their eye on him when he runs routes too. He is a versatile back.
The give to the back. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. And the Wildcats come to the line on 3rd and short, trying to convert here. Quickly complete. Makes a grab and a nice Nice gain, gets it to the 35. Sixth play of the drive coming up. The play action fake. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Quarterback on the keeper. Oh, it's out. Recovered by the defense, and he's off. Flying out to the left. He's at the 30. 10. Touchdown, Maryland! The defense putting points on the board.
And how about this defense making plays? Not only do you force the fumble, the awareness to scoop it up. Understand the difference between trying to jump on it but pick it up and make a play. They make a play. In this offense, they have not put together a lot of scoring drives, and now they give up points on the other end. They got to get it together.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And they did tack on the extra point. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Boys, expect the unexpected in college football, and for some, this update could fall under that category. Michigan State dominated almost from wire to wire, and a game like this makes you harken back to those Connor Cook-led Sparty teams that won Big Ten titles in 2013 and 2015. All that speculation all week, and now we know. But something tells me, fellas, we haven't heard the last of either of these teams.
Kevin, thanks a lot for that one. Sounds as if they had a good one there. Running back searching for a hole. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play.
Well, it's a negative play trying to run the football, and I think if you're on offense, you got to be thinking about throwing it now. You're trailing by a lot. You got to get back in this game. You need tempo, and you need explosive plays through the air.
He's able to get it out to the 25, but needed a little bit more to move the chains. It'll be fourth down. They kick it away on fourth down. He'll field the punt. Working his way on the return up to the 40-yard line before he's stopped. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. They'll start this drive 60 yards in front of them from their own 40. Wants to throw on first down. And here's a fumble way behind the line. Defense got it, they're on the run. Touchdown, Kansas State. The defense takes matters into its own hands.
That defenses are always trying to force turnovers, to get the ball back to their offense, make those big plays. You know what the cherry on the sundae is? When you force the turnover, the pill hits the ground, you scoop it up, and you take it all the way back to the house. Huge play for this defense.
And now they'll try to get the two-point conversion, guys. Caught in the backfield, it's Bridges. Couldn't quite find the end zone as they stop him on the two-point conversion and keep them from making this a one-possession game. And here's the return. And the return man is stopped, and that'll leave it up to the offense on the next drive. First play of this drive comes from the 14-yard line. Quarterback quick pass to the receiver. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. They're dealing with a second and long. They'll give it to the back. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Power Cats have powered up the noise to try to help this defense on third down. From the gun, wants to pass. Under fire. Just had to get rid of that one to save the yardage on third down. The Terrapins will try to pin them back with the punt. He's getting a lot of work. Fourth time he's punted tonight. Really good job by the coverage team to make the stop, and that's where they'll put it in play. And here comes the Kansas State offense back onto the field. Here's the handoff. After the pickup of 9, it's 2nd and 1. The Wildcats with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. Out of the gun, the inside handoff to the running back. Breaks a tackle, and he's got room. All down, but he has enough to move the chains. With a first down, they'll snap it from the 32. Looking downfield on first down. He's got it. They finally get him on the ground, but he's got an explosive play for the first down.
Well, it's a nice play design there. You're getting the running back involved in the pass game. Quarterback gives it to him early so he can go to work upfield and get the first down.
Kansas State has it with another 1st and 10. The RPO, fire complete to the left. He's brought down, but he went backwards after that completion, not the way they had it drawn up. We've reached the break. It's Maryland with the lead. And sitting in a good spot as we wrap up the third. Let's take a look at our game stats while we have a break in the action. One more period to go to see who can make the winning plays and come home with the victory. It'll be 2nd down as we open the final stanza. Back to pass. Swings it out to the flat. They'll get it down to the 8-yard line on that throw and catch, and the defense is backed up against the wall. Wants to throw again. He is denied, cannot get to the first down marker, and it's 4th down coming. So here we are on 4th down, and this field goal kicker is going to face all the pressure in the world. Splits the uprights right down the middle. This is now a 7-point game.
And you want a touchdown and you want to be aggressive, but man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
And he takes this from inside the 5. Nice job executing all of the assignments as they put a stop to that return at the 22. First play of the drive comes from the 22. Leaves it with the back. He's going to lose a yard on that one. After getting knocked back to open this drive, it's 2nd and 12. Looking to fire. Bringing the heat. And the defense makes a play, sacking him back at the 10.
Man, this offense has been bad. How about the first play? Nowhere to go, nowhere to run, tackle for a loss. Second play, you get your quarterback sacked. And the third play, now we're sitting in 3rd and long, right where this defense wants to get us.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, he'll need to loosen up that arm. And this defense has maxed out this pressure. Another sack.
This quarterback is thinking to himself, I need to get an NIL deal at some restaurant so I can take my offensive line out and feed them more, because I don't think they like me very much right now. I've been sacked 6 times in this game. It's time to get that new NIL deal paycheck.
And the Terrapins will bring the punt team onto the field. 3 and out, they got stuck in reverse. They hope the punt can bail them out. He'll get away another punt. He's been really active today, and no doubt he's going to earn his varsity letter. Hey, you make the stop, and that is exactly what you want out of your punt cover unit. Catch coverage in the middle. It's Bridges. They finally get to him. What a play there to pick up the first down.
Man, you've created some great momentum, getting the stop, forcing the punt, now getting it back to your offense. Your offense starting to get in a groove. Late in the game, you need some big plays.
You just wonder how much panic there is right now on the defensive side of the football, too, because of what you just said, David. They can feel and sense the momentum leaving them right now with the lead. So someone defensively better step up here soon and make a play.
And they are looking to pull even with a touchdown here in the fourth quarter. They'll keep it on the ground for first and goal. He works his way all the way down to the 3, and the defense is reeling. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. They've got it down to the 3. Now it's second and goal. Pushes ahead. He's got it down to the 1-yard line right on the doorstep of Pater. If they can pay off this third and goal with a touchdown, it might be getting a little... Scores on the sneak.
It's just so nice to have a signal player who can make plays through the air and make plays with his feet like this. Runs in for the touchdown. The defense knows I have to account for him every play. That's my quarterback.
Extra point here will tie the game. And the extra point was good, and we are all tied up in the fourth. They're set to kick it off. You think this crowd's going to get loud when their defense comes on the field? On the move from inside his 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. First snap of this drive will come from their own 17. Motion from the wideout. They're going to open this drive with a pass. Chunk it away just as he was hit. Good job to toss that ball out of bounds and avoid the loss. Behind the chains now on second and long. Now the play fake. And the quarterback goes down at the 11-yard line.
They got more sacks than a grocery store. Goodness gracious, time and time again, getting to the quarterback, getting him on the ground. This defense having their way.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On third and long, you'll need to push it downfield. He's not going to make it. What a job by this defense to stop him in his tracks. The Terrapins will punt it away on fourth down. Doesn't say much for your drive when you're looking forward to the punt. Not able to pop the big return, but they've got the ball back and ready to go with a fresh possession. K-State has the ball back, and the Power Cat offense returns to the field. From the shotgun, the handoff to the back.
And that run really didn't go anywhere. And a lot of times we don't focus on it enough. But how important those 5 guys are up front. To get on those defensive linemen, to try to move them out of the way, to get a run game going, it squarely falls on the shoulder of those 5 offensive linemen.
And this one will be stopped for no gain. Looking to help the kicker out on third down. From here, it would be a 59-yard attempt. Pulls it in. It's Bridges. They are on the move as they pick up the first down. They'll spot it at the 28. The Wildcats come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Give to the running back. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Handoff to the lone back. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. On third and long, he has to throw for it. Quickly out to the tight end. They'll bring him down right at the 20-yard line, and a fourth down looms and decision time for this offense. And now on fourth down, they will put it on the shoulders of the kicker to save them with his foot. Absolutely center cut. They have taken the lead here in the fourth. After Putting 3 on the board, the kickoff unit ready to go. Bringing it back. And the returner will be dragged down. Good news, I guess. A lot of room to work with as they start this drive from their own 15. They'll try the run. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
Don't you love energetic defenses that fly around, that make things happen? The ones that get in the backfield, the running back tries to go somewhere. Where do you want him to go? There is nowhere to go. Nice job by the defense, creating the tackle for...
He lobs one high down the left side. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers. Just listen to the little apple. You can hear it all the way to the big apple as they try to get the defense off the field. And that defense gets to him, and down he goes at the 9.
What a beautiful day for the defense. A sack for you, a sack for you. Everybody gets a sack. Everything good happening for this defense.
And the Terrapins send out the punt unit. 3 and out, and not much choice but to get rid of the ball. He just wanted to get it out of there from his end zone. And they'll get him on the ground as the offense comes out to start the next drive. And here comes the Kansas State offense back onto the field. Leaves it with the back. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. On the move. Look out, he's got room. And he avoids the hit and slides after the short gain. Ball at the 38. The defense will try to get a stop on 3rd and short. Here's the pressure. Sets up the screen. They are on the move as they pick up the first down. They'll spot it at the 28. New set of downs after the completion. They'll keep it on the ground, trying to milk the clock. They make the tackle after he gets 2 down to the 25. After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line, 2nd and 7. Wants to go up top. Incomplete behind the receiver. Maybe this freshman got a little too anxious. They've moved it to the 25, but now facing a 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Got rid of it quickly, but it's incomplete. So on 4th down, here comes the field goal kicker in a huge spot. And the kicker delivers the 3 ball to finish off the drive. And now it'll take a touchdown to at least tie them a 6-point lead here in the 4th.
And that's not the way they wanted to end the drive, but nice job being ready and your field goal kicker coming through and putting 3 points on the board.
On the run from inside his own 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. We'll see what they can do on this drive that starts at the 16-yard line. Leaves it with the back. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is.
Hold on.
We'll repeat the previous down, but this time the offense has 10 more yards it has to cover. Here's the snap, ready to cut one loose. A strike downfield. Finally corralled, but not before. He picks up the first down. The Terrapins want to pick up the tempo.
And it's frustrating as a defense when you give up that first down and you give up that pass play. But here we go with this offense. They're right back on the ball. You got to flush that. You got to get lined up, and you got to communicate.
They'll send the tight end in motion. They'll run it from the gun. Brings it to the open. Tackled at the 43 after picking up 10. Clock stops. We have reached the 2-minute timeout, and the offense is looking for a play to close this deal out. Wants to go up top on first down. And the pressure will get there. The sack. Down he goes in the waiting moments. That could be a costly play.
And that's exactly what this defense needed. They needed to have something positive. Giving up some yardage, they've given up some plays, no big deal. Got right back in it on this drive with that big sack.
And the Terrapins have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. Back to pass. Catch in the middle. It's Cade. And the defense had that one well covered. Just a short gain there. Got to get to the line quickly for this 3rd down play. Unloads to the wideout. And that one falls incomplete, trying to get a chunk play on that one. A 6-point game getting very deep in the 4th quarter, and the offense desperately needing to convert this 4th down. Hauls it in, the 1st down and more. Quick timeout call by the offense after the play, trying to preserve every minute possible. He wants to throw it again. He's looking deep. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch. Backed up now. Here's 2nd and long. Looking to fire. Gets rid of it. He's got the back in the middle. They'll use a timeout here. You have to be certain at this point in the game. On 3rd and short, they'll try to pick it up with the pass. Turning it on. And wisely gets out of bounds to stop the clock. They've got the 1st down, now in plus territory and a chance to save themselves. He knew exactly what they needed there, made the play, and got out of bounds to stop the clock.
And you got to keep this turbo mode on, right? We got to keep going fast. The clock's running down. 4th quarter, need a score. Great execution to get the 1st down. We need a lot more of this on this drive.
The Terrapins, once backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost, have put quite a drive together. They're in the red zone, and they'll pass it. And he can't find anyone open, and down he goes. A sack here late in the 4th. He spikes it, clock stops as they try to rally late. The Power Cats have powered up the noise to try to help this defense on 3rd down. Looking to throw, and he needs a chunk play. And he can't get it off. Taken down. What a huge play this late in the game. He'll try to throw and pick up the 1st down. Fires toward the end zone. It's incomplete, and they desperately needed to keep that drive going, and they couldn't make the connection. Don't want to risk anything here. The quarterback takes a knee. We've waited so long to start the season, and just the way you want to start, getting that 1st victory.
And the first games are so much fun. You've been practicing against each other over and over all through camp. Now you get to come out, start the season off 1-0, Jesse. Great start.
It was a great start for the winning team. Now, for the losing team, obviously not the way you want to get into this season. There were some mistakes with execution, and guys are going to have to do a better job individually. But that's why you play the games. You get to now go back to the drawing board, get back on the practice field, try and iron out these wrinkles. It's a long season ahead. A lot to play for.
That will put the wrap on things from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis. You've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.